The US 395 road trip is one of the most action-packed adventures in the West. Having driven it many times between where I grew up in Southern California to where I live now in Reno, I keep discovering new things to do along the way regardless of the season. I found my perfect spot. I'm gonna camp out for a little while. Here are some of the best things to do, slight detours, and stops to make on the US 395 freeway.
I found it. Don't have to share. It's really beautiful.
My second to PCH favorite road trip in California. Let's pretend like you're coming from Southern California. You're going to drive through a lot of desert getting out of Los Angeles, and maybe there's some cool things to see, but I think the best part of this road trip begins after Lone Pine. Lone Pine is proudly the gateway to Mount Whitney, the tallest mountain in the lower 48, and one of the best places to see the beauty of Whitney is in Lone Pine's Alabama Hills. I recommend making this your first stop and overnighting in the Alabama Hills where camping is permitted provided that you leave no trace.
Many people out there have fancy camper vans, but we just sleep in the back of this guy.
My favorite things here are the Mobius Arch at sunset, which perfectly frames Mount Whitney, and the stars at night.
It's the most famous, but I'm the only person here, so that's pretty cool.
And the iconic sunrise spot right off of Movie Road. The Alabama Hills is famous for being the location for a lot of old Western movies that used to be filmed here, and it's honestly such a quick, easy detour just right off the freeway in Lone Pine. It's a dirt road, but most of it is perfectly fine to drive on with a normal vehicle. Death Valley National Park.
Welcome to Death Valley, boys and girls.
This will be quite a detour, but a worthy one. Death Valley is one of my favorite national parks in the entire system, and I promise you will be amazed by the land formations here. The closest entrance is about 80 miles east of Lone Pine on mountain roads, and once you're there, you'll be doing a fair amount of driving as well, as Death Valley covers a huge area. If driving the 395 freeway in the summer months, I would skip this stop, but if it's in the wintertime, then go.
I'm sweating, and it's December, so I can't imagine trying to do this in anything but the winter. No thanks.
First, you're going to come to the Mesquite Flat Sand Dunes. These are a whole bunch of dunes that reminded me of being in Namibia. And as you continue inwards, you absolutely have to see the Badwater Basin. This is the lowest point in America, and this can also be the hottest point in Earth in the summer months. However, I love visiting in the winter, staying for sunset, and seeing the stars at night.
It's like that Himalayan pink salt.
I absolutely recommend that you catch the sunrise at Zabriskie Point and from there begin the hike in the Golden Canyon.
Probably the most famous sunrise in this park.
You can turn it into a loop, and although it can still get boiling hot in the wintertime, it is absolutely worth doing if you have some time in the early morning hours. It's actually one of my favorite hikes in California, and that's saying a lot.
In every direction, it's amazing.
Don't miss the Artist Palette and the Dante Overlook for some other beautiful spots to see in the Death Valley National Park.
Gorgeous.
The Bristlecone Pine Forest. In the vicinity of Manzanar, which used to be a Japanese concentration camp during World War II and is worth stopping at just to learn a little bit more of the US history, you'll find a bristlecone pine forest. The bristlecone pine is the oldest living organism on Earth. It's been living for thousands of years, and they grow in such strange and interesting ways and are hauntingly beautiful to look at. Candidly, I've never stopped at this grove because we have some bristlecone pines in the Sierras and in Nevada at the Great Basin National Park, so I get to see them there, but if you've never seen one before, you should definitely check these out. Next is Convict Lake. This is a short detour towards the left of the 395 freeway after Bishop, but absolutely a worthy one.
Absolutely beautiful.
You really only need 15 minutes or so to get to the lake and get out and park and take some photos. It's a drive-in and drive back out, but just look at how beautiful it is. If you have more time, you can rent a cabin in the area and take a hike around the lake. Next is the Hot Creek Geological Site. This overlook is just after Convict Lake to the right, and while the water is too hot to swim in, the overlook is quite the view. I particularly like it when it's covered in snow.
Oh man, it's just stunning right now.
Though the sunset is spectacular, if you can manage to go for sunrise, you'll get the alpenglow on the mountains. In the summer months, it's really easy to access Hot Creek via a dirt road. However, in the winter months, the road is closed and you'll have to hike 3 miles on a snowy road. It's worth the effort. I was able to get it all to myself. And while you're in the area, there are several hot springs that you should definitely check out. This is another one where I do recommend going really early in the morning so that you can get them all to yourself.
3 cars already at the hot spring.
Look at this really cool heart-shaped one. Mammoth Lakes. Not too far from here, you're going to get to Mammoth Lakes. Now, Mammoth Lakes is a really popular ski resort in the wintertime, but even if you don't ski, it can be really great for snowshoeing. Next is June Lake. I especially love June Lake in the summer when you've got crystal clear water that is just so amazingly blue and a nice large beach area to hang out at. It's a favorite stop of mine on the way to or from Burning Man in late August. But it's also lovely in winter with snow-covered mountains and a good chance of being able to snowshoe. Next is Yosemite via the Tioga Pass. In the summer months only, Yosemite is accessible off the 395 395 on the Tioga Pass Road. Be on the lookout for it before you get to the town of Lee Vining. This is one of the most popular national parks in the whole national park system, and having grown up frequenting Yosemite, I'll tell you exactly why. There's nowhere in the world quite like it. This glacier-carved valley is gorgeous at any time of year, including when it has snow, but you won't be able to access it from this freeway until the snow has melted. This is so much more than a quick detour, so only stop if you can give it at least one full day to see the highlights. Mono Lake. This salty lake has curious minarets poking out from it. It's enchanting in both the winter and the summer months, and most famously photographed during the sunrise and sunset. There are several campsites nearby, as well as free dispersed camping near the lake, and the town of Lee Vining has some provisions as well. My personal favorite area is the South Tufa, where you can catch the sunrise and the sunset. This has some of the more famous rock formations that you'll often see in photographs. Otherwise windy area on a still day, do not skip Mono Lake. Travertine Hotsprings. This one is a slight detour to the right on an unpaved road, but one I've been able to do in an RV in the summer, and in the winter you will probably want a four-wheel drive vehicle.
Last time I was here, it was in the summertime and it was packed. It was right before Burning Man. This was full of people, so it is kind of cool to be here without anyone.
Now these pools are not the hottest, and this is a really popular place to be, but they are pretty cool and photogenic. Keep in mind that this is clothing optional, and in the summer months when it's more accessible, plan on sharing it with lots of people. I went on a Wednesday morning in January and was able to get these springs to myself for over an hour. Although you can enjoy the springs at any time of day, you cannot camp in the parking lot overnight. There is some dispersed camping along the dirt road. Finally, Lake Tahoe. Now we're getting closer to my neck of the woods. Lake Tahoe is the most beautiful lake in the world, I can honestly say. It's so clear and vast, it satisfies my need for an ocean. In the winter, plan on lots and lots of snow. This makes for some awesome activities like snowshoeing, and I really love visiting the lakes in the wintertime because there's never anyone much around. Be sure to check the road conditions before you try to go anywhere though, because they regularly close or have chain-only commands. In the summertime, it is a wonderful hiking and backpacking destination. I absolutely love going into the Desolation Wilderness. You will need a permit, so you have to get that ahead of time, but if you're able to score one, this is one of the most beautiful parts of the state. There's so much to do on the 395. Enjoy the road trip, and if you find any worthy stops that aren't on this video, please come back and let me know. Happy road tripping.